In the next several videos, I'm going to flesh out what I said in part two about the definition of what we call the gospel. So the next several videos need to be seen as parts of a connected whole. And today we're going to look at the state of creation when it first existed. So this is a brief look at Genesis, the first two chapters. Now, just about everything that I'm going to say about Genesis 1 and 2 is going to be controversial. Not even all Christians would agree. And in some cases, I would be in a minority among other Christians. And I think you need to know that, primarily because I'm explaining a particular point of view that would not represent all Christians. And so you shouldn't think that all Christians think the same things on every point I'm going to raise. I'll try to explain which things are more generally agreed and which things are more controversial. Now, the first thing to notice about Genesis 1 is that it does not argue for the existence of God, but rather presupposes God's existence. Now, that's not a particularly controversial statement, but the conclusion I draw from it is controversial, and that is that it's the existence of God that is what makes other things understandable. We have to presuppose God's existence in order to make sense of other things. Now, some Christians believe that you can prove the existence of God by looking at the evidence. The problem is that not everyone agrees about the meaning of the evidence or the conclusions that can be drawn from that evidence. Now, I'm going to want to say more things about that in another series, but for now, just understand that I'm claiming Genesis 1 presupposes the existence of God. The second thing to notice about Genesis 1 and 2 is that God speaks the universe into existence. And here it's important to observe then the power of God's speech, the power of his word. When he speaks, he accomplishes what he wants to accomplish, and no one and nothing can stop him from doing what he pleases. Thirdly, he created the universe to be beautiful and artistic. It's my opinion that human beings never imitate their creator more closely than when they create beautiful art. We do have this problem now that we are rebels against God, and that certainly results in much ugliness in the arts. But that doesn't snuff out all beauty and all creativity, even amongst unbelievers. And fourthly, even after human beings rebelled against their creator, there still exists a vast beauty in the world for which we can be thankful to the creator. Modern dystopian novels, to the contrary, we do not live in a post apocalyptic age. And if you've ever been thankful to live in a world that has such beauty, then a very probing question that you can ask yourself is this: why am I thankful? And to whom am I supposed to be thankful?